So in today's video, we're going to talk about a question that is on a lot of people's minds. Should you buy one of the new 2019 MacBooks? So a lot of people have been asking me this question lately, and I've talked about it sort of in bits and pieces in previous videos, but for today what I want to do is sort of consolidate my general advice in terms of what should we do about the MacBook lineup. Because we've sort of got this weird duality where, on the one hand, the MacBook lineup as of July is the most logical and the most simple that it's been in a very long time, and it's got some very compelling options in it. But on the other hand, we are right on the cusp of apparently a brand new generation of MacBooks that are about to get their foot in the door starting in October and in 2020. So we're sort of in this weird limbo right now where on the one hand, we've got a lot of great MacBooks that are available right now, but on the other hand, you don't want to kind of commit to that if there's going to be something better in 8 months, 5 months, 3 months. So as of July, the MacBook lineup is really very strong right now. We've got the MacBook Air, which starts at $1,100, and then up from there you have what is, in my opinion, the best MacBook that we've seen in a very long time, which is the base model MacBook Pro, and that thing is going to have quad-core processors, decent screen, decent speakers, good battery life, and it's only $1,300, which comparatively for other Apple products is relatively good value, so I definitely recommend that computer. And then of course we step up to the $1,800 MacBook Pro, which brings slightly, very slightly faster processors, more Thunderbolt ports, a dual fan design that's a little bit quieter, and that sort of thing. Minor improvements, frankly. I don't think that model is worth it, but it's there if you need it. And then of course we get to the 15-inch MacBook Pro, which I think is actually a pretty strong contender right now. The higher tier has a Core i9 by default. The prices haven't gone up since the 2016 model, so we're getting better performance, better value for no extra cost than it used to be. And then across the board, we have the 2019 revision of the Butterfly keyboard, which, while still a Butterfly keyboard, is definitely a lot better than they used to be. So overall, it definitely feels like this generation of MacBooks has reached maturity. This is where we've wanted it to be for a while, and this is sort of the best that it's going to get of this generation. And that leads me to the problem. The reason why I haven't been recommending a ton of these recent MacBooks, except for, of course, the base 13-inch MacBook Pro, and I'll get to that in a minute, is that we are nearing the end of this generation. Now, when I say generation, I'm really talking about the design language, which kind of started in 2015 with the MacBook, and then the MacBook Pro adopted it in 2016, and the MacBook Air was super late to the game all the way in 2018, adopting this sort of design language of having space gray, butterfly keyboard, thinner, metal hinge, that sort of thing. Now, this is a decent design aesthetically, but it's had some problems when it comes to cooling and reliability and the keyboards, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a new generation, which is supposedly going to be starting this year in October with the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Now, this is an interesting situation because a lot of people are saying, ooh, well, should I not buy a 15-inch MacBook Pro because the 16-inch is coming out in October? Setting aside all of the future MacBooks that are going to come out in 2020, which we'll talk about in a little bit, the 16-inch MacBook Pro is at the very least something of a sure thing. We are pretty confident that it's going to be coming out this year. So here's my take on it. If you are shopping for a MacBook Pro, one of the two sort of stock models right now that are $2,400 or $2,800, I would say you're probably just going to be better off buying one of those. The 16-inch MacBook Pro is going to be on top of that price line. It came out just the other day that it was going to start at least $3,000. Personally, I think it could be more like $3,500, something like that, and of course it'll go to like $400 million once you really spec it all the way out. So if you're looking at one of the stock configurations of the MacBook Pro, basically anything under $3,000, I would say you're probably going to be fine just going for that and waiting until the next generation of MacBook Pro, of 15-inch MacBook Pro, is more mature and more affordable. Now, if you are going to be spending more than $3,000 on a 15-inch MacBook Pro, let's say you're putting Vega graphics in it, you're upgrading the RAM, upgrading the storage, definitely putting a little bit more money into it, I would say it might make sense to wait. The 16-inch MacBook Pro may suck, or it might be really, really cool, and you wouldn't want to commit to a $3,500 machine if it's very quickly going to be eclipsed by something that would have offered you better value and a better experience. So what I would do, if you're in the $3,000 to $4,000 range, wait until the 16-inch MacBook Pro comes out. See if it makes sense, see if it really fits. If it's sort of first-gen technology, not really ready yet, then I would say get yourself a refurbished 2019, because of course by October you'll be able to get refurbished 2019 15-inch MacBook Pros, and you'll save yourself some money on that front as well. So when we're talking about the 16-inch, waiting until October, it can really only help you to wait. It's not that far away. If you have a computer that can make it another 2 to 3 months, I would say wait, if not to buy the 16-inch, just to see what it is at the very least, to see if it's something really amazing. Now, as far as the rest of the lineup, here's basically the way that it boils down to. Probably in 2020, we're going to get a completely new MacBook Pro generation. As I said, the 16-inch is kind of going to go on top. I can't imagine that the 15-inch that just came out in 2019 is going to go away. I can't imagine the 13-inch that just came out in May and then July is going to go away. That would be crazy. So what's probably going to happen is this year 16-inch comes in, sits on top of the entire MacBook lineup like a big king sitting on top of the throne. And then this new design will carry on to the rest of the MacBook lineup in 2020. Whether that means the discontinuation of a 15-inch MacBook Pro or the discontinuation of 13 to move to a 14-inch MacBook Pro, who's to say? But basically, one thing that Apple loves to do is put the new generation on top in a higher price point and keep the old one around a little bit so that it's sort of occupying the same price point, and then after 1 or 2 refreshes, they'll drop it back down and make everything fill the same price point. So $1,300 today gets you this MacBook Pro. I'd be willing to bet that a year from now, you'll probably be able to buy this same MacBook Pro for $1,300. So if you are in the market for the base model MacBook Pro, something around there, I think you're probably going to be safe with this. The new generation that's going to come out next year is probably going to come at a higher price point, or at least something of a compromise, so that you might not want to purchase it straight off the bat. So that's why I would recommend this particular model of MacBook Pro. As for the MacBook Air, well, frankly, I don't think that anyone should be buying the MacBook Air new. If you're a student and you can get it for $1,000 with the headphones and stuff like that, it sort of makes sense, but I would generally recommend shopping for a refurbished 2018 MacBook Air because it's not really a whole lot different, and you're going to get a lot less money. It's like $850 refurbished, or you can get them used for like $750 like I did last week. So that would definitely be the way to go for the MacBook Air. And then when it comes to the 4 Thunderbolt port MacBook Pro, I would say just don't even bother. The base model MacBook Pro is so good that I just don't even think it's worth it. Oof. Yeah, so to summarize, because this obviously was not a scripted video, this is sort of just my general advice. If you're shopping for a MacBook over $3,000, wait until October because the 16-inch MacBook Pro might be really good. Or maybe it sucks, and then you're just going to switch on over to the refurbished store, pick yourself up a 2019 MacBook Pro for probably $250, $300 less than if you bought it today, and you will have the peace of mind of knowing that you didn't make a mistake. Then if you're buying the base 13-inch MacBook Pro, I would say you're probably going to be fine. Just buy it, and it really won't make a ton of difference because the future 2020 MacBook Pro redesign is probably going to be more expensive anyway. Unless, of course, you cannot stand the butterfly keyboard. If the butterfly keyboard is a deal breaker, then well, I guess you're not really going to be buying any MacBook, but then you should absolutely be waiting for next year because hopefully those issues will be resolved. And then, of course, the MacBook Air, just buy one refurbished. The True Tone display that you get on the 2019 model, I don't think is really a huge deal. I think you're fine with the 2018, especially if you're considering that we're going to save like $250 by buying one refurbished. I think that's definitely the way to go. So hopefully that answered your questions as far as what MacBook Pro should I buy? Should I be waiting? What am I going to do? Is the world going to explode? I mean, yeah, it is. It's definitely going to explode. So that'll do it for today's video. I hope you found these insights helpful. If you have any questions that I didn't talk about in this video, feel free to leave those down in the comments below. Definitely make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any more in-depth questions that might be hard to ask in a YouTube comment, as those aren't the most intuitive for discussion, definitely consider heading over to my subreddit where I and over 1,000 people can help you come to a decision. And of course, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Miani. Please consider joining my subreddit. Wait a minute, I already said that. Nope, that's it. Okay, I'll see you all in the next video.